And what about ye? 2003 MG TF is a wee two-door convertible runabout roadster thing, and customer complaint is, well, it runs terrible. So customer complaint in this is, well, it's drivability. You know, I drove it a wee bit whenever the thing came late last night actually, and yeah, it's difficult to hold an idle. You have to sort of keep flipping the throttle to get it to run and all that nonsense. And when I got it into the garage here, it stinks of fuel. So done a quick on the OBD just on normal OBD, nothing fancy. We had about 10 codes there. So a load of stored codes: camshaft position, O2 sensor, throttle position, fuel trim, misfire detected, and misfire, camshaft, throttle position pending. So what I did was I deleted those codes out, and immediately these two here returned: camshaft and throttle position circuit codes. So on these wee things here, there's your boot, your trunk. There's a bit of the engine with that open, and in here there's a cover. So I have all the covers off, they're laying on the floor, and this is the access we have. There's the roof hoofed up, and well, we'll get a wee look at this. So the two components that the car is complaining about is this camshaft sensor on the top of the rocker cover, and that's it. There's the plug for it, and the throttle position sensor is just basically beside it. Well, that plug there on it, if you can see it, could get down in. That's it there. So they're plugged in, and well, we'll do a couple of quick tests here. But before I show that, I've already done it, but before I show that, wee quick background into this. So after interrogating the owner of this, he's only had it a couple of months. Seemingly he's bought it for his girlfriend for Christmas. At the time of recording this, it's February, so he's only had it a couple of months. Seemingly when he bought it, it had been serviced. So there's a new looking fuel filter there. And yeah, so I think, not too 100% sure here, but I think it's always ran badly. So he's had it to somebody else. He's had it to another garage or whatever it is. And I'll tell you a wee bit about that in a minute. So from what I've said so far and what I've shown so far, the astute amongst the crowd there will probably be shouting what the problem is here. But everybody will probably say, oh, head gasket, you know. But the original head gaskets in these K-Series engines, yes, they were rubbish and they failed very, very easily. Any overheats at all in these engines, it is catastrophic to the head gasket and the head warping and all that. That, to me, looks like an MLS gasket. That doesn't look like original. MLS is multi-layer steel, which is the standard replacement for the OE one, which is not. There's a bit of fresh silicone there, if I can get it in the shot. There we go. As well, so somebody's been in here. So yeah, previous garage, apparently, according to the punter, the owner couldn't find anything wrong with it. It says plugged a computer into it, whatever that means, and couldn't see anything. So I think somebody's been in here and they've done more in a service. Now maybe the wee service thing was done just when the guy bought the car, but certainly from what I've seen with this RTV and stuff, somebody's done fairly invasive work in here. And yeah, so we'll do a wee bit of testing. Let me see now. We'll get this connector off. You gonna come off? Give it a repress in, and we'll put the key on. And that's ignition on. And down the bottom of the screen here, hopefully we'll see if we can get the both of them in shot. And we'll just go across the pins. At this stage, I don't know what one's what, but sure, doesn't matter. We'll see what we've got. So nothing on that one. Middle one's nothing. And with 5 volts on the camshaft position sensor. So with 5 volts there. So there's no diagnostic voltage, and that one there is probably a ground. So that's dead on. We'll do the same on the throttle position sensor. You can just about see it there at the bottom of the screen. So 12 volts, near enough. We have near 11 volts in the middle one there, and that's probably a ground. 12 volts, and that's probably a diagnostic voltage, or some people call it a bias voltage from the ECU. That's probably what that is. But 12 volts on a position sensor, I don't think that's right. So we'll have a look at some information. So this, I've got up the throttle position sensor in that red box there. So it's connected directly to the ECU, all 3 wires there, pin 46, 20 and 34. And we bit of information on it there. So it does indeed look like that on the car, and supply voltage 5 volts. And yeah, we're seeing 12 volts. So can you guess where this is going? So there's a scope trace off it there. So it's basically, let me see if we can get this up to show you. It's basically a potentiometer there, you know, with that wee sweeper going across as the throttle valve opens. So if I have a wee look at the camshaft, there in the red box, that's the camshaft position sensor. And we can see pin 1 goes, it does not go into the ECU, it goes and is teed into what that there is. That's a lambda sensor, so number 243, I'll red box that. 243, oxygen sensor in front of the catalytic converter is what that is. So pin 1 across into the O2, up into there, into the relay, and into a fuse. So according to that, the camshaft sensor on this car is fed with 12 volts, and the throttle position sensor should be fed with 5 volts. So yeah, so we'll just have a wee look at, let me see, I need to go back onto that again. General information. So the camshaft sensor is, you know, it's triggered with a camshaft rotating and teeth on it and all that. And yeah, so that's basically it. So we'll get, you know, a square wave out of it. So we can test that. Although it does say here the Hall effect device can be supplied with 5 volts directly from the ECU or 12 volts. So it could run on either there. But yeah. So back over to the car again, and I think you know what the suspicions are here. So there's our throttle position sensor, and we can see on the wiring here we have a thick wire. It's that brown coloured wire and a yellow type of wire, but that one's thick, and these two are not as thick. They're skinnier, you know. So they're clearly on the throttle, and this brown wire, this wire is quite taut, you know. So it just about reaches onto there. So that's not going to go on to the other one, and the plugs are the same. These are what do you call these here? Taco amp connectors, I think you call these. But anyway, yeah. So we'll have a look at a wiring diagram, just to confirm our suspicions. So here we have this wiring diagram. Now this is for an AMG of some description, but it's not for this particular car, but we'll have to treat these wiring diagrams with a pinch of salt sometimes. So throttle position sensor, and all the wires, two like purpley coloured ones, and a green and yellow, but they're all 0.5 diameter. They're all 0.5 diameter. If we go on to, let me see, where is, I was looking at a second ago, camshaft position sensor. So we have, it's like a black, and don't know what color that is, 0.5 diameter, 0.5 diameter, and a 0.75. So one is thicker than the other two. So I'll just go back to that alone in a minute. So with the throttle position sensor, two purpley wires and a green and yellow type wire. So what we'll do is we'll go down in here, if we can get that hose out of the way. So you can see, and there's a wee bit of tape, this rubber boot on this connector. We'll unravel a wee bit of tape. Can we get a wee bit of tape unraveled? And what does it reveal? What does that reveal? So we have two pink sort of wires with tracers and a green and yellow, and they're all the same size. So this one here, the throttle position sensor, the wire is too taut. It just about reaches, but it's far too taut. And this one here will go on to there, no bother at all. And but yeah, so that's probably why I'm in the wrong place, because it actually doesn't reach. So why is that? Well, you're probably not going to see this here, but let's see, I'll give it a go. So that's the wire there that goes underneath the throttle body onto those two plugs, and it's out of focus. Oh, that's better. And yeah, it's around the outside of that's a fuel pipe there. So there's our wire there. You can see it. So that is routed incorrectly. So if that was brought up the other side of that fuel pipe, yeah, I think I'll be dead on. Right, we'll have the loom coming up in front of those fuel pipes now. You maybe just about see it there. And I've back probed into our throttle position sensor, into the signal wire, and we have 0.6 volts. So I'll just actuate this with my hand. Let's see, get in here. There we go. I'll get you around here. Great. I've just changed it onto a graph. I'll do that again. So I was a wee bit worried that the 12 volts going into this 5 volts position sensor might have caused a bit of a problem, you know. So what I'm looking for is, you know, if there's any dropouts, there's a big one there, and you know, in case there's sort of a burnt bit in the sweep and the track and the potentiometer. But it all seems pretty good. So that's dead on. We'll have a look at the cam sensor now. So there we go. We're in the cam sensor, and looking good. You know, you could sort of see how this mistake could be made very easily, because out of this main loom, this wire here is shorter than this one. There's a big loop in this one, but yet it's to go, you know, further away.
Okay, one last time. These are small, but the ones out there are far away. Small, far away.
Than that one. That's closer to the main loom than this one. So you can sort of see how that mistake can be made. But anyway, let's see how this thing's run. We're not out of the woods yet. Open loop fault. So she's not switching on the O2. So oxygen sensor output 0.47, doing very little there. Look at that. Flat line. So let me see. Fuel trims, not changing, open loop fault. So let's see. O2 sensor. Oh dear. Here we are then, back probed into the O2 sensor plug. O2 sensor's way down in there. I can just about see it, the torch. So here we are, pegged at 5 volts, 0.5 volt I should say, and our live data 0.475, 0.48. It's more or less the same. So yeah, open loop fault. O2 sensor's dead. So if we just take a wee look at the original codes when the car first came in, we'll have the camshaft position sensor, the throttle position sensor, but we also had an O2 sensor fault initially. So the camshaft and the throttle are fixed because the wires were swapped around, but our O2 sensor one has came back, and the car isn't going into closed loop as a result. So it looks like we're not fixed yet. Okay, so I've went ahead and removed the O2 sensor. This is the upstream O2 sensor, and it's a narrow band sensor. And we went ahead and got a replacement, and I've already installed it in the car, and I've put the car back together again. There's another video on the channel of testing this, the testing that we could do to prove that this sensor is dead. So, and that video also goes into, you know, how these work and a wee bit about them. These are narrowband sensors. So it's all back together again, and I'm just going to run it, and we'll show the live data, and we'll show this thing working. So we can see it's just sitting with the ignition on, the fuel system on, open loop, engine coolant temperature 9 degrees centigrade at the minute, and RPM 0. So we'll start her up. Seeing a bit of a change there. Coolant temperature 19. So it's just within a closed loop. And our fuel trims are starting to change there. Oxygen sensor, so before there was no change in this at all. So just graph that. That's her starting to switch. So before that was stuck at what, 0.45 or 0.485 or something. It didn't change at all. the car wasn't going into closed loop. So yeah, that's it really. We're calling that a fix, and take her for a test drive. This car's ready to be sent. It's still sitting a bit rich there, here and there. So she has to heat up a wee bit. It's still sitting at, where have we got? 38, so it's just started. So I've let her run for a minute or two there, and yeah, sensor switching nicely. So that's it. Many thanks for watching. Hope you get something out of it, and